Hi, I'm Mark T.J Keane, the founder of Sleeping Serpent and Mark's Magical Mystery School. Now, in 2003, I had a spiritual awakening where my whole body and mind were flooded with light. Within 24 hours, that light guided me to study alchemy, Kabbalah, and kundalini yoga. When I went along to a kundalini yoga class the first time, it amplified everything that I was feeling by about 10 times. But it was the study and meditation with alchemy and Kabbalah that actually allowed this kundalini energy from the kundalini yoga to actually illuminate the ancient sciences of alchemy and Kabbalah, so that I began to really understand the true meaning of life. Over the last 20 years, I have studied all the ancient Hermetic sciences and kept going with my kundalini yoga practice. So I am in an unprecedented position to understand the real secrets behind the meaning of life. And I've spent the last 20 years, over 2 decades, teaching over 30,000 students in every single country in the world that I am personally aware of. So if you're interested in that, in knowing how I got to understand the secrets of the universe, then watch on. You know, this is only a short video. It's going to be about 20 minutes, right? In about 20 minutes, I promise you, you will understand, right, the synopsis of what I understand, which is the secrets of the universe, which is the meaning of life. So if you make it to the end of this 20-minute video, it gives you that guarantee that you will be in a much better place than you are now. And if you don't make it to the end, well, you know, who knows? Maybe there's always the next life. Remember the immortal words of the Oracle in the Matrix, Saint Neo? Well, you've got the gift, but I think you're maybe waiting for something, the next life. Who knows? So I really hope to see you on the other end of this video, my friend. Now, before I had my spiritual awakening in 2003 and all of the study that I've been doing over the last 2 decades, I used to wake up every morning having a real sense of anxiety, an existential crisis, believing what the world tells you, that when you die, that's it. That's the end. There's no spiritual reality. There's no such thing as heaven. There's no such thing as the spirit or the soul. The body goes back down to the earth and that's it, the end. I used to be terrified by that thought. I used to wake up every morning in my 20s and think, oh my God, I'm going to die. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon, like within a few years, within a few decades, I'm going to die and that's going to be it. And that sucks that life is so short and then ends with complete oblivion. And I used to lie in bed an hour, paralyzed, not able to get out of bed, just with this anxiety, this terror, this disappointment that this is all there is. You know, I tried everything that the world tells you to do. I went traveling around the world and I met a lot of other people saying, I don't want to get a mortgage. I don't want to get a job. So, you know, these sort of people were asking questions, exploring new countries, new cultures, you know, places with a lot of sunshine. I went to Australia, to New Zealand, to Southeast Asia, you know, but still there was this sense of running away from something, avoiding life, not really finding what we were searching for, not really knowing what we were looking for. So traveling didn't really provide the solutions either. I tried moving to central London, and I was brought up in a small town in Wales, and I moved to central London to get, you know, a good job and a good salary, and you know, that didn't really provide much satisfaction. I didn't feel any desire, any motivation to climb up the corporate ladder. I did find a lot of satisfaction in dancing and going clubbing and, you know, reaching very ecstatic states in those super clubs in London in the 90s and the early noughties. However, you know, that was just a moment in time. And then, you know, having been up all night, achieving those ecstatic states, the next day you would feel often quite flat, quite low, and then throughout the week it would just be back to work Monday to Friday, and I would just get more and more tired and just think, really, is this all there is? I'm just living for the weekend. However, increasingly I did start to get interested in this thread of ancient civilizations, that our ancestors in the past knew something that we have forgotten, something very, very important. And it was the study of ancient civilizations, in particular ancient Egypt and the Great Pyramid, that caused me to have this spiritual awakening, where I realized the pyramid is all to do with light. And with that realization, my whole body was flooded with light as I realized the pyramid is used not only as a way of enlightening the body and mind of the person that goes in, but of using that spirit body activation to travel into different star systems. So it was an unprecedented tool for shamanic travel. So this increasingly got me interested in studying Egyptology, in shamanism, in plant medicines, and sitting with shamans all around the world. And after a while, I realized that it's the kundalini that I was already igniting with my kundalini yoga practice and my kundalini dance practice that I actually learned in Australia. That was the key. I realized that kundalini is the life force. It's the force that cleanses the body. It cleanses the mind. It's the secret fire of the alchemists. It's the philosopher's fire of the philosophers. It is the key to transformation from ignorance to salvation, from the ego to the higher self, from the shadow into the illumination of that deep, authentic soul connection, which we recognize as something that is always here, always has been here, and always will be here, because it's our true, immortal, infinite self. So really, it was this combination of deep study of alchemy and Kabbalah and the Hermetic arts of Western magical tradition, and this embodied practice of Kundalini yoga and the Kundalini dance that actually brought these ancient texts to life. So that's how I became a person who was working 9 to 5 in the city of London to a full-time professional wizard who understands the secrets to the universe. Not as a mental exercise, but something which is fully illuminated, fully alive, fully active in my spirit, because the Kundalini is the bridge between the immortal soul and its creation, which is this temporary, mortal, human self in body and mind. So the Kundalini really is the secret to life. The Kundalini really is the bridge to understanding the meaning of life, because it emerges from what we're actually searching for, which is the soul, and into its creation, which is this mortal life, which we have chosen to incarnate into, to have this experience of remembering, of waking up, which is such a fun game. So really, there are 3 things as a full-time professional wizard which I consider to be important. The first one is the Hermetic arts. So I've mentioned them. It's the Hermeticism itself, that there are 7 components to the universe, and the central one is that the universe is mental, all is mind. Everything starts in the imagination of the soul as a divine spark of creation, and then all the keys to the universe are mirrored out in these 7 basic principles. I also study Kabbalah, where there are 10 Sephiroth in the body, and as above, so below, as within, so without. These 10 keys to understanding ourselves also act as the 10 keys to understanding the blueprint to reality. That's what Kabbalah is. It's a blueprint to understanding reality and realizing that we are a microcosm of the macrocosm of the universe. So when we understand ourselves, we understand the mirror of the universe, which is our creation as well. It's a reflection of what is inside of us. Everything is connected in this holographic, fractal relationship. Everything forms this structure, which is a pattern which you can recognize, which is mapped out very meticulously in Kabbalah. So that's what makes that so profound. The highest goal, where we're trying to get to, is really the alchemy, right? That's the spiritual enlightenment. It's the illumination of the soul. This is what I call high magic, right? It's the highest goal in any lifetime, is to realize, not just understand mentally, but to fully realize an embodiment that we are this light. We are immortal. We can't die. We're always going to be here. We just change shape. We change form. Sometimes we're a human being. Sometimes we're on some completely other dimension of reality. It changes, right? Energy just changes from one form to the other. But we, as consciousness, as an immortal soul, are permanent. That is the truth. So the alchemical process is of taking all of our doubts, all of our fears, all of our uncertainties, all of our confusion, everything that holds us back and sabotages our journey in the shadow, and taking that lead and alchemizing it, transmuting it, transforming it into the truth of fully realizing ourselves as an immortal soul, having this temporary human experience. That's the alchemy. But the transition, right, from the study of the Hermetic arts to this full enlightenment, if you will, is really the kundalini. The kundalini is the bridge between the world, right, and the soul. The kundalini. So the kundalini yoga, the kundalini dance, the kundalini awakening practices that I've embodied, they all point to the embodiment of the kundalini, the secret fire, the alchemist fire, the philosopher's fire. It's got so many names. This divine feminine life force that cleanses everything in its way, purifies our body, right? Transmutes everything in our mind so that we return fully present and alive in a knowing, that deep inner knowing that is true wisdom, that we are this soul. So it's really this shamanic practices that are fully dependent on the kundalini to activate the kundalini, where we can begin to travel to the other side, right? Make contact with these beings that are already immortal, already present in the luminous reality beyond the veil of the physical reality, right? That starts to make us realize that this is real. This physical world is not the only world. There is another world. There is another side. So it's really this shamanic practice that is really central, that acts as a bridge to understanding the Hermetic arts and the full enlightenment. And that's where the kundalini comes in, to actually breathe life, breathe fire, secret fire, inner fire into shamanism to make it real. So these are the four things altogether that my magical school, Mark's Magical Mystery School, helps you to fully illuminate these secrets to the mysteries of life being fully revealed in 12 months. You know, I've helped so many people in all of these courses, and that's why I decided to put them all together, because, you know, having them in one place is such a blessing. So you don't have to choose. You can just take your time and immerse yourself in all of these different things like I did. I learned all these things simultaneously on my journey over the last 23 years. You know, I'm so glad that in 2005, following my spiritual awakening, I actually flew to Australia and did the Kundalini dance training and invested $1,500 in that training. That's the best $1,500 I ever spent, because what that did was it committed me to really embodying the practice of awakening the Kundalini, of activating the 7 chakras. And that's set a precedent for me to really understand the Kundalini in the way that I do today. I also did exactly the same in India, where I became a Kundalini yogi and studied there for months and spent $1,500. So the $3,000 of embodying Kundalini yoga and Kundalini dance have completely transformed my life, where I made a commitment that I am going to be a Kundalini yogi in this lifetime, going to fully awaken the Kundalini and use that Kundalini to fully illuminate, right, the ancient texts of the Hermetic arts, of Kabbalah, and of alchemy, and of shamanism. And boy, has it done that. Best $3,000 I ever spent. You know, this has taken me 20 years to kind of work all this out, and I've had a lot of help. I've sat with shamans, I've done the kundalini yoga training, I've done the kundalini dance training, I've sat with Zev Ben Shimon Halevi, an esteemed Kabbalist. And, you know, you have to really go to those experts. But it's still taken me this 20 years. So that's a valid option. Option one is you just find your way, you just walk your path, you see where it gets you, and you try to understand all the secrets of the universe yourself. You know, you buy the books, you study them, you try all these different things, you know, like a kind of butterfly going from one thing to the other. But the thing is, there's no guarantees that you're ever going to get there. You might get there, but it might take you a really long time. And I was very focused, and it still has taken me 20 years to get to the place that I am now. The other option, option two, is that you join my magical school, and I've got everything laid out for you. I've got the Hermetic arts, I've got the Kabbalah, I've got the alchemy, I've got the shamanism, I've got the kundalini dance, I've got the kundalini yoga. I've got everything that you need to awaken the kundalini, to understand this relationship that we have with the inner shaman, to transcend this physical reality, to manifest everything that you want to dream into reality in this lifetime, and ultimately to achieve the highest goal of the great work, which is the alchemy, the transmutation of the shadow into the luminous soul itself. It's all laid out in my magical mystery school, and I have never seen this anywhere else, this amount of clarity and depth. In 12 months, you could be in a completely different position. You know, I've got every aspect of kundalini yoga. Right from the beginning, you don't need to know anything about kundalini yoga. I've got an introductory course which you can learn the basics, and then I break everything down, whether it's the mantras, whether it's the mudras, whether it's the bandhas, which are the body locks, whether it's the breath work, whether it's the meditation, or whether it's the advanced kriyas, as they're known, which is a set of exercises designed to have a particular result, like enlightenment. I've got it all mapped out in separate courses. But like I say, it doesn't stop there, because if you prefer to dance in a shamanic dance through the chakras, I've got the kundalini dance, right? I've got maverick exercises in my kundalini awakening, right? I've got Kabbalah 1, Kabbalah 2, Kabbalah 3. So you understand not only the 10 Sephiroth, but all the 22 paths that link them together. So there are 33 components to the Kabbalah, and I break them all down in my 3 courses, right? I've got how to be your own wizard or witch, where I break down, you know, these 3 components to being a wizard: the Hermetic arts, the shamanism, and the alchemy, right? I've got a whole course on alchemy. But not only that, I use the technology of kundalini yoga to help you to understand the alchemy, which is what I've done, which I don't know anyone else that has really done this. So you've got a separate kriya, each of the 7 operations of the alchemy. You know, you could go out there and do a retreat, and it would probably cost you $1,000, $2,000 just for a weekend. But then the thing is, usually you feel really good when you come back on the Monday, on the Tuesday, but it starts to wane after a while. So really that investment doesn't really pay off in the long term. You know, all of these courses, almost 40 courses, and I'm still producing more content, at the current value, which is probably way too low, where average is out about $100 per course, right? You're looking at about $4,000 that it's actually worth. But I think it's actually worth a lot more than that, because I think one of those courses you could easily price at $300, but then the whole thing would be worth $12,000. So it's a hard thing to price. But I'm not going to charge you, you know, tens of thousands of dollars. I'm not even going to charge you the $4,000, right? I'm not even going to charge you $2,000 or even $1,000, because I actually want to make this as accessible as possible to as many as possible. That's always been my model. That's how I've ended up with 30,000 students in every country around the world, right? So I'm pricing Mark's Magical School at only $400 US, right? But as a special thank you for watching this video, right, I'm going to slash that to a ridiculous price. I can't believe I'm doing this, to just $299. That's just under $300 for the whole thing for 12 months. Right? And after 12 months, if you aren't in a completely different position of understanding the secrets of reality and of activating your kundalini, then I'll give you your money back, guaranteed. And I will guarantee that I'll give you one-to-ones personally until you actually do understand what you want to understand, to get you where you want to be, to get out of the frustration of the existential crisis, of feeling like this is all there is, that not believing in the divine, that not feeling the connection to your soul, that not having awakened kundalini, not really understanding the secrets of the universe. I will guarantee you that I would give you one-to-ones until you do have that inner knowing back, because that's your birthright. And I want you to feel that inner knowing that I have, that all of the anxiety has gone away, all of the doubt has gone away, because I know who I am, right? I know I'm immortal. I know that I'm a soul. I know that I've had past lives. I know that I can't die. I know that I've got access to all the wisdom of the universe. And I know that I transcend all the intelligence in the world, right? That's all AI can ever do, is replicate intelligence. Wisdom is beyond intelligence. Wisdom is an inner knowing. It's a feeling. It's trust. It's love. Okay. And there's nothing that can replace that, right? You are amazing. Anyway, so right now you're standing at a crossroads, right? Like, I think all of humanity is at this crossroads right now, right? Do we go down the path of ignorance and give all our power away to technology and to AI and to the billionaires? Or actually, do we start to remember who we really are, that we are an immortal soul, having a human experience, that our ancestors did understand something that we have forgotten, right? That there is another realm of reality where we return to when we die, that we can have communication with beings on the other side, that there is an ancient science that is designed to make sure you can actually have everything that you want, to attract it into this lifetime and manifest if you do it properly. And ultimately, you can take away all of that pain by the alchemical process of transmutation of the lead of your ego into the luminous soul of your true self, which fills your heart up with joy, with love, with light, with ecstasy, with bliss, and eradicates once and for all the frustration, all the doubt, all of the anxiety, and all the fear. Fear was never real. It stands for false evidence appearing real, and it's nothing to fear at all. Everything is good news, because understanding floods away ignorance. And once you get wisdom, you can't lose it. So I really look forward to seeing you enrolling in our special community, because it's not just me, it's a whole community. I'm present in that online community every day. You can ask me questions. I'm there to support you on your journey. It's not just static online courses. It's a fully alive, present community of like-minded souls where we share our journey along the way. So I really look forward to seeing you on the other side, my friend. Thanks for watching. And this really is a once in a lifetime opportunity, because, you know, I don't know if I can always keep the price this low, and certainly not at the $299. So I will have to put it up again very soon once I get the right amount of people through the door. So, you know, act now, don't delay. And I really look forward to welcoming you with open arms into Mark's Magical Mystery School. Thank you. So if you're excited to become an exclusive member of Mark's Magical Mystery School and join the membership program by subscribing for just $299, then I'll leave a link in the description below, and simply use the coupon code MEANING to qualify for this incredible discount on a full access to all areas, pass to everything I've ever created. It's my life's work. It's the great work. In alchemy, we call this the magnum opus. So just use that coupon code MEANING to redeem this $100 off what is already a ridiculous price of $399 to just $299. And it's even less in pounds, right? So thanks very much. I look forward to seeing you in the community.